So Errol Spence takes on Shawn Porter this weekend in a welterweight unification, IBF and WBC. It's a fight which hasn't really gone under the radar as such, but hasn't received the kind of promotion and fanfare that you might have hoped or expected for a unification involving two of the welterweight division's biggest names. Now, perhaps it's because Errol Spence is a firm favorite in this fight. I haven't looked at the betting odds, but me personally, I think Spence is a firm favorite. I could be wrong, right? Shawn Porter could upset him. But I feel like Spence is getting better and better every fight. And Shawn Porter might actually be on the decline now. The Ugas fight was not an impressive performance. And many people, including myself, feel like he actually lost and was very, very fortunate to walk away with his world title. Ugas, a strong fighter, yes, but unspectacular. Errol Spence is far superior to Ugas, okay, at least in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying that Shawn Porter's got no chance here, because he definitely does. He's strong, and I'm expecting a better Shawn Porter than we saw against Ugas. He's going to be more motivated against Errol Spence. He knows what he's up against. He has a goal to shoot for. He knows he has to raise his game. But I just feel as though Errol Spence is the fresher guy. I feel like he's got the higher ceiling as a fighter. I think Shawn Porter has probably reached this ceiling. And Shawn Porter's a good fighter. You know, he can box on the back foot. He's not just a pressure guy. He gets stereotyped and labeled as this just wild swinging mauler who comes out like the Tasmania devil and doesn't really have any technique or boxing acumen there. But that's really unfair because he does. Shawn Porter can get on his toes, box and move around the ring. We saw that in the Keith Thurman fight in spots. He didn't just pressure Thurman all the time. At times he got on his back foot and started moving around. And that is actually when he had some of his best moments, is when he was moving around against Keith Thurman and keeping him guessing, confusing him. So, yes, it's unfair to say that Shawn Porter is one-dimensional. But when Porter does, and look, on the back foot, he's shorter than everybody else for the most part. So he can be effective, but against an Errol Spence, do I think Shawn Porter will be that effective on the back foot? I mean, I think probably not, but we'll see. Shawn Porter does have fast feet. So even though he's a short guy, his foot speed on the back foot does, give him an advantage over certain guys. Does he have faster feet than Errol Spence? Maybe. I think Errol Spence doesn't have the quickest feet in the world, but a lot of the time he chooses to be stationary. If he wants to get up on his toes and produce more movement, I think he probably can. But when Shawn Porter comes forward, and I think he inevitably will against Errol Spence, because Spence can box very well at long range. We saw that in the Mikey Garcia fight. I think Porter inevitably will come forward. And as hard as him and his dad have trained, as many times as they've been over these drills of defense and offense coming forward, he's still sloppy in that department. And because he's still sloppy, he's going to leave gaps for Errol Spence. Gaps which I think Spence will fully capitalize on. I'm not expecting a one-sided fight. I'm not expecting a blowout. I'm expecting this fight to go the distance. But I think that Errol Spence will emerge the winner. And I'd be surprised if it's even controversial, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think Spence is on the ascendancy. He has all the momentum behind him. He's the one who's improving fight after fight. He hasn't been in as many tough fights as Shawn Porter's been in. And that does take a toll. And not just the tough fights, but the tough sparring that Shawn Porter's had over the years. So that's my take on it, man. If Shawn Porter was in his prime right now, and some people are probably going to argue that he perhaps still is, I personally don't see it that way. But if he was, I'll probably be more excited for the fight, because when you have a top level fight, a unification, it's most exciting if you feel as though you're not sure who's going to win. When you are sure, or when you're very confident that one individual is going to win the fight, it's not as exciting. You understand it? It's the unknown that makes fights exciting. So when you've got these big heavyweight fights, for example, we all wanted to see, or I wanted to see, Wilder versus AJ, because I didn't know what was going to happen. Somebody was going to get knocked out. I knew that. But who would it be and at what point in the fight? Didn't know what was going to happen. That's what made it exciting. With Spence Porter, I feel like I know what's going to happen. I feel like Spence is going to be the sharper guy. He's going to use his height and reach well. He's going to engage Porter on the inside only when he needs to. And when he does, Spence is very good on the inside, people. He's not like a Kell Brook who's just going to hold Porter every single time Porter gets close. Now, it will be interesting, to be fair, to see how Spence deals with Porter's strength. Porter didn't look that strong against you guys. I mean, was that a sign that he's maybe struggling at the weight? But in most fights, Shawn Porter is very physically strong up close. Roughhouses people and whatnot. Be interesting to see if Spence is as strong or stronger than him. Because Spence is very physically strong himself. We've seen him bulldoze fighters. Remember when he fought Chris Algieri? Just walked straight through him. So, yeah, going to be interesting to see how Errol Spence deals with the physicality of Porter. But from a technical point of view, I don't think Spence has got that much to worry about, to be honest. Porter is, competent, but he makes plenty of mistakes. Yeah, Spence, to me, is the more technically polished of the two. As I say, the athleticism, the legs of Spence might not be quite as fast as Porter's legs, and maybe, but then again, as Porter's legs slowed down as he's gotten older. There's questions there, definitely, which is why I wouldn't put my house on Errol Spence winning, but I would say, in my mind, this is like 70-30 in Spence's favor. That's what it is in my mind, yeah? Again, I don't know what the bookies' odds are, but that's how I would have it. So I'm expecting Errol Spence to win this fight on a 12-round unanimous decision. Maybe majority decision. I'll be surprised if it's split. I reckon majority or unanimous. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. How are you expecting this fight to go? Do you think there's going to be an upset? Do you think that Errol Spence has got too arrogant? Because that's what some people are saying. If Spence has got too arrogant, he's feeling himself a bit too much at the moment, and he's going to come unstuck because of that. I mean, maybe they got a point. We'll see. Drop it below in the comment section. It's happening. I'm out.